Hello, Boss Blackman, here with the Aladdin's lamp.
I am the genie of the lamp. I'm granting you just one wish.
What should I wish for? Do you know?
$1 million?
Nah, tax problem.
A new car?
Can't drive. I got it.
A wop bam bam boom!
Look, Mom, I can fly. I like that, Genie.
I am the greatest.
Oh.
And with that little glimpse into one of the most iconic Nike Air Jordan commercials, I'd like to welcome you to a little analysis about how do brand extensions and secondary associations help build brand loyalty. I'll be showcasing how this actually works on the brand case of Nike. The first text I'll be analyzing is called Brand Love, and it's by Batra. It has two key concepts. First, brand love, as the title already implied, and secondly, how social ties influence brand love. Let's first dive into brand love. I only picked out 3 core elements of the 7, since those are the main elements we need later for our case. First, passion-driven behavior is described as a strong emotional and behavioral investment into the brand. Secondly, anticipated separation distress, which is that if you stress about not having access to a brand for a period of time or not at all, ever again. And then thirdly, self-brand integration, which basically talks about how a brand becomes part of a consumer's identity and how consumers view the brand as a representation of themselves in terms of their values or status. Next up, how do social ties influence brand love? Well, here the text more mainly talks about how if we see that we share the brand with other people, that generates more brand love. And additionally, brand love for a brand is shaped through our peers or role models. The text also talks about word-to-mouth marketing, which is essentially the marketing that people do for the brand if you really love a brand. So you're advocating it to other people. The second text I'll be talking about is called How Brand Community Practices Create Value. Here, 2 key concepts stick out. First, consumer-driven creation, which talks about a value which is created in brand communities rather than value creation within a brand. Secondly, what practices create value inside a brand community? Here the text talks about 4 practices. I'll only pick out 2 because those are the most relevant. First of all, impression management. Here the text talks about evangelism, which basically is the way that people advocate their brand, which the people talk to other people about their brand. And secondly, justifying, which is if people get to hear something bad about their brand, the way that they are fighting for the brand and justifying actions of the brand. And the second part of community practices is brand use. Here the text talks about grooming, which essentially is that people are maintaining the product in good shape. And then secondly, customizing. Here the text is talking about how people modify the product and showing it to other people, creating engagement and talk about this brand. Third text I'll be talking about is called brand line extensions, and it's from Koshman. The key concepts are brand line extensions, branded house strategy, and the findings of the study. Well, what are brand line extensions? Brand line extension of, for example, Diet Coke or Light Coke. So, what is the correlation between brand line extension and consumer loyalty? Well, the study found out that brand line extensions created more consumer loyalty since people wouldn't be switching to other brands which gave them the same service. And the second concept they talked about is the branded house strategy. Branded house strategy is the way you publish your brand line extension. Brand house strategy would be that you publish your extension under your household name. So Coke, publishing the Diet Coke under Coca-Cola. The findings of the study here were again that the branded house strategy is helping consumer loyalty, sticking with the brand and creating more loyalty for the main brand and also the brand line extension. The last text I'll be talking about is about building a brand community. Here, key concepts are the key relationships of a brand community. Here, the text talks about consumer-to-consumer relationship. This is very important to build a brand community, since here people interact with each other over shared experiences of the brand, and therefore people engage with each other and a community can be built. Secondly, consumer to brand relationship. Well, this is kind of obvious, since without an emotional connection from consumer to brand, a community cannot be built. Next, the effects of a brand community. The brand community creates loyalty through creating engagement within the people, creating co-creation, and having events. And therefore, people stick loyal to the brand. And the way people feel themselves fostered with a community and the brand are with events or engagement in total, when a brand is communicating with the people through social media and encouraging engagement. To our actual brand case. How did Nike become this dominant in the shoe business? Because back in 1985, Nike only had 18% of the market share. And then they made a genius move to introduce the first signature shoe, Air Jordan, from Michael Jordan, to the market. In the following 2 years, they had the market share of 43%. This turned to a market share of almost 86% by the time of 2019. More than 97% of the people in the US are aware of Nike, and 65% of the people own Nike shoes or any other things. Especially extraordinary is the loyalty consumers of Nike show to Nike, because according to some statistics from Statistica, 86% of Nike users show a form of loyalty in form of repurchasing or other actions to Nike. Well, these are all extraordinary numbers, but that doesn't really tell us how Nike came from an unknown brand to a big-time shoe brand. Maybe our framework and the theoretical background we established earlier can help us with that. Well, in the case of Nike, we can see how extension like the signature shoe of Jordan build a community. With the community, all the loyalty benefits that come with a community came to Nike. Another benefit Nike had, that they were linking themselves to secondary brands. For example, Jordan. Jordan himself is a brand, and they were linking into them by doing a signature shoe with them. This helped them create a very high level of self-integration within the consumers, since Michael Jordan was a big figure back then, and everybody wanted to be like him.